$100 billion to the Ayatollah Khamenei is the single most catastrophic foreign policy decision of this administration. And today, this administration continues to refuse to enforce the oil sanctions, enriching the Ayatollah, funding Hamas, funding Hezbollah, funding those who are murdering Israelis and trying to murder Americans. How does it make sense to give billions and billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to kill us? What was your role in issuing the waivers giving Iran access to that pot of money?
Thank you very much, Senator. With regard to the $6 billion in question,
the 10 billion, not the not the $6 billion in ransom. That's another problematic decision.
Apologies.
Fellow patriots, welcome back to the channel that tells it like it is. If you're sick and tired of watching this administration bow down to the enemies of freedom while selling out our country's interests, then you're in the right place. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into the insanity we just witnessed in the latest Senate hearing, where Senator Ted Cruz, one of the few with a spine left in Washington, absolutely dismantled the Biden administration's foreign policy clown show when it comes to Iran. That right there? That was Cruz doing what every American senator should be doing, demanding answers, holding bureaucrats accountable, and reminding the Biden regime that appeasement is not foreign policy, it's surrender. Now let's break this down. The Biden administration, through these so-called waivers, is helping Iran gain access to billions of dollars. Billions. And what do they say? Oh, it's only for humanitarian purposes. Are you kidding me? These are the same people who looked the American people in the eye and told us the border was secure. The same people who said inflation was transitory. And now they want us to believe that Iran, the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, is going to use this money for soup kitchens and hospitals.
Ms. Gavito, you served for 2 years as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Iran, Iraq, and Public Diplomacy. Then you became the Acting Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for Near Eastern Affairs. What was your role in issuing the waivers giving Iran access to that pot of money?
Thank you very much, Senator. With regard to the $6 billion in question,
the 10 billion, not the not the $6 billion in ransom. That's another problematic decision.
Apologies. With regard to the electricity waivers, I, as Deputy Assistant Secretary, did not have a direct role in that particular decision. That being said, certainly was part of those discussions. As Ambassador Jacobson has noted, the intent behind those waivers was to incentivize the Iraqi government.
I'm not asking about the intent. Did you support those waivers?
I was not in a decision-making capacity.
Did you agree with the decision?
I would have to review, Senator. Yes, I believe that incentivizing Iraq to divest itself of Iranian oil is positive.
Okay, Ambassador Jacobson, these waivers will have to be renewed this summer or they expire. If confirmed, would you support reissuing those waivers?
So I'd note that those waivers have spanned at least 2 administrations and been renewed 21 times since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I take heart from the commitment of the government of Iraq to achieve energy independence by 2030.
That's not an answer to the question. Would you support reissuing those waivers?
Well, I don't think it would be up to me, and I would be more than interested in serving as part of the conversation.
There is a consistent pattern in this administration of giving money to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us. $100 billion to the Ayatollah Khamenei is the single most catastrophic foreign policy decision of this administration. And today, this administration continues to refuse to enforce the oil sanctions, enriching the Ayatollah, funding Hamas, funding Hezbollah, funding those who are murdering Israelis and trying to murder Americans. How does it make sense to give billions and billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to kill us?
Thank you for that question, Senator. I personally am very clear-eyed about the Iranian threat. I think I shared with you, and I'll share with others, that I have been myself on the receiving end of Iranian death threat information, including during my time in Ashgabat when President Niyazov used to remind me that the Iranians had a missile pointed at my bedroom. With regards to the funds that are kept in restricted accounts that are overseen by the Treasury Department, that are the subject of an extensive system of safeguards, these funds will never reach the government of Iran. These funds have to stay overseas, and they have to be used for humanitarian purposes. You could ask, doesn't that mean that it frees up money for their massive terrorism campaigns, which of course are heinous? And I would argue that Iran, unfortunately, is always going to focus on destabilizing activity over supporting the humanitarian needs of its own people. With regards to the sanctions, the administration hasn't lifted any sanctions, and as far as I know, it's implemented another 700 sanctions.
But it refuses to enforce them. My time's expired, but the results are indisputable. And Iran has gone from selling 300,000 barrels a day of oil to selling 2 million barrels of oil a day. That is funding this war of terror against us.
Let's look at the facts. Under President Trump, Iran's oil exports were strangled down to 200,000, maybe 300,000 barrels a day. That's called leverage, folks. That's how you bring a hostile regime to its knees without firing a shot. But now, under Biden, Iran is pumping out 2 million barrels a day, selling oil, getting rich, and funding terror. Don't take my word for it. Senator Cruz laid it out plain and simple. Do you understand what this means? Iran isn't just some country across the ocean. They fund Hamas. They fund Hezbollah. They fund the very terrorists who are butchering innocent Israelis and plotting attacks against Americans. And we're giving them the means to do it. On purpose. That's not incompetence, folks. That's collusion with evil. That's a betrayal of every American who ever wore a uniform and defended this nation. And then there's these Biden bureaucrats, Miscavito and Ambassador Jacobson, who couldn't even give Cruz a straight answer. I wasn't in a decision-making role. I'd be interested in being part of the conversation. Give me a break. That's Washington speak for, I know it's wrong, but I don't have the courage to say it. They're playing political games while real people die. Senator Cruz called them theocratic lunatics, and he's right. The Ayatollah isn't a misunderstood world leader. He's a tyrant who leads chants of death to America and death to Israel while building nukes and arming terrorists. And yet the Biden administration treats him like a misunderstood neighbor who just needs a little compassion. This isn't just about foreign policy, folks. This is about whether our government still represents us, the American people, or if it represents globalists, terrorists, and the deep state swamp. It's about whether our leaders believe in strength or submission. And I'll tell you this, I refuse to stand by while my country funds the enemies of freedom. Senator Cruz is doing what more of our leaders need to do. He's standing in the breach. He's saying no to appeasement. He's saying no to terrorism. And he's saying yes to America, to strength, to sovereignty, and to truth. If we want to take this country back, if we want to stop funding our enemies, if we want peace through strength, then it starts with us. Speak up. Vote smart. Share the truth. And never stop fighting for the country we love. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, share it with every patriot you know, and subscribe for more unfiltered truth. This is more than a channel, it's a movement. And we're just getting started. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. United States.